Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to Marci Malzahn.
Did you know that if you learn a foreign language by the age of 10, you do not get an accent in that language? Well, I learned English as an exchange student when I was 11, so I missed the deadline. So you fast forward 2 years. I'm 13 years old now, and I found myself on the runway of the Managua, Nicaragua airport, trying to make a decision. Do I leave the country with my mom and my siblings, or do I stay behind with my dad? And so you can imagine in your picture in your head what we were going through at the moment. My family, this is June 24, 1979. My dad is 50 years old, my mom is 35, and they have 6 children. My older sister, who's 14, I'm 13, 11, 10, and then 2.5 and 1.5. There were no more commercial airlines coming to the country at that point, and we found out that the Sandinista revolution was about to overthrow the 66 years Somoza dictatorship government. So then, at that point, we found out that there was one airplane coming from the Red Cross. It was a Red Cross cargo plane that was coming to Nicaragua to take out the people from El Salvador and take them to their country. So we decided to flee, because this is now about 4 weeks before the revolution won. And my parents heard that this plane was coming, and we decided it's time to flee the country. Plus, they had just heard also that the Sandinistas were taking the kids as young as 14 to the war. If you could handle a machine gun, you were going. So here we are, 6 in the morning, all the family, and 26 pieces of luggage. I count everything. So then the pilot comes and tells my dad, okay, what are you doing here? And he said, well, we want to go on the plane. And he said, no, this is only for people from El Salvador, and you're not from there. So, and then the pilot gets busy. At that time, my dad starts sneaking in all the suitcases in the plane. It's a cargo plane, there's no seats, so you have to imagine that. So then all of a sudden, the pilot turns around, there's this pile of suitcases in the plane, and he tells my dad, but I told you, whose pile of suitcases are these? And my dad says, it's mine. I told you there is no room for your family. So my dad says, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll exchange suitcases, I'll stay behind for my wife and my kids. Deal. So then my mom gets in the plane with the 2.5, the 1.5, my older sister, my brother, and then my sister after me, who was 11 at the time, she says, our dad shouldn't stay here alone. One of us should stay with him. So she's out there, I'm getting on the plane, and all I saw from the corner of her eye was a tear. And she's the quiet one in the family. And I said, that's not right. I said, you get on the plane, I'm 13, I'm gonna stay behind with our dad. So I get off the plane, and now I'm standing here, my dad is right here, and I feel this feeling of abandonment like I've never felt before. And I thought to myself, that was a bad idea. And you know the feeling you feel when you get completely lost, where your blood kind of goes to your feet and you feel that feeling of abandonment? That's what I felt at that time. But then, just like in a movie, como en una película, I do speak Spanish for real. That's what my dad says. Like in a movie, he took out more suitcases and he put me on the plane. They shut the doors, and my dad stays behind with 25 pieces of luggage. Mine made it on the plane. And remember, when you take off in an airplane and you start seeing things smaller and smaller, that's how I saw my dad. And we didn't know if we were going to see him again or not. He was sitting on a suitcase like this with all of the other suitcases around him. But then the movie ends well. Because that day, remember I said there were no commercial airlines coming to the country anymore. That day, there was one plane that came from Argentina en route to Costa Rica, which is south of Nicaragua. And guess what? They had one seat open. If that's not God's intervention, I don't know what is. So they told my dad, get on the plane. He said to the Red Cross people, ship all my luggage to El Salvador. I'll reunite with my family there. 2 days later, we were reunited again, and we were going actually to Dominican Republic as refugees, where we were going to be almost 6.5 years. And it was because my dad's sister, my aunt, married a Dominican, and his family bought 8 tickets for all of us to go to Dominican Republic. So we arrived. She converts her office into a bedroom for my parents and the baby. And the rest of us, the 5 of us, they put us in a 1-car garage. This is the Caribbean in the summer. with mosquitoes and all the bugs that you find in your garage, and the heat and no windows. But then my cousin sent me a picture of all the kids, and guess what? We were all smiling. We were so happy to be alive and to be free. See, freedom is priceless. So then, 2 months later, we decided to move. We could finally move to a 2-bedroom, 4th floor apartment. And this is 2 months. Okay, now it's August of 1979. Hurricane David comes to the island. And you know how our friends from Puerto Rico right now, the island is devastated and flattened? That's how Dominican Republic was. So we spent the entire hurricane on the 4th floor. Again, not one window broke. So we made it through that again. And it was during those years that we were in Dominican Republic that my parents met people that lived here in the Twin Cities. So many people ask me, why Minnesota? Well, these people decided to open up their homes for us. While my parents worked in the immigration papers, they helped us with opening up their homes. So the kids came at different times. I was the 3rd one to come here. So my turn came in January of 1986. And I started my career in banking in June of '86. I met my husband in New Year's Eve of 1986. This actually is, we got married in '88, so this year is our 30th anniversary. And I told him one day, I'm like, honey, I was looking for you in the wrong country. I had to come here to find you. So then in 1997, I made a decision to become an American citizen. And I want to end my presentation, this part of it, with reading to you the welcome letter that I received from the President of the United States of America. How many of you have received a letter from the President? Not that many. So I want you to do this for me. I want you to imagine that you are that immigrant, your great-great-grandpa or great-grandma or your parents. I happen to be a first-generation immigrant, and it's the most amazing letter. So I will read it to you, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you are that immigrant, because that's what this country is all about, right? We're all coming from somewhere. So close your eyes, and I'll read you this letter. Dear fellow American, I want to congratulate you on reaching the impressive milestone of becoming a citizen of our great nation. As you enjoy the benefits of American citizenship and assume the responsibilities that accompany it, you follow the many brave men and women who have sacrificed to establish and preserve our democracy over the last 2 centuries. You now share in a great experiment, a nation dedicated to the ideal that all of us are created equal, a nation with profound respect for individual rights. The United States is a land of unparalleled natural beauty, vast opportunity, and freedom. It is home to people who have been drawn to our shores from all over the world and who share a common love for life and liberty. Please join me in devoting your hopes, your prayers, your energies, and your labor to our common good and to the future of this wonderful country. Together we must strive to safeguard the freedoms we hold so dear, not only for ourselves, but for future generations. You can open your eyes. Isn't that the most amazing letter? I think that every 18-year-old kid should receive this letter. Here, welcome to America. Pay taxes, you know, and be responsible for this wonderful country. Okay, so now, you know, today I was only able to share with you about 3 of my major events in my life. When I do my inspirational keynotes, I share about 12 of them. And I share about the leadership lessons that I learned through each one of them, such as leaders are grateful, we prepare, we are risk aware, we appreciate everything that we have, we know that we cannot do things alone, we need people around us to fulfill our vision. I also speak on banking topics like cash management, enterprise risk management, talent management, and strategic planning. And what the event planners started asking me was, start combining your inspirational stories with my educational topics. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been super fun because I have so many stories to share. So today, I hope that you got a taste of my mission when I speak, which is to inspire and educate my audience. And today, I want to leave you with one question. What is your American dream? I want to thank you so much for your attention today, and I hope that you'll get me at one of your events, and I'll be around. Thank you so much.